Hello there, my name is T. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell for new videos, and give this video a thumbs up. In today's video, we will be covering kitchen vocabulary. Now let's start defining the word kitchen. It is a room that is equipped for preparing meals. Now let's begin with kitchen appliances. An appliance is a device that is meant to do a specific job. Now let us begin with our vocabulary. Stove. This is a kitchen appliance used to cook. Now here is an example of a sentence where we use the word stove. The stove stopped working last night, so we had to buy takeaways. Please note, takeaways is a meal that is prepared at a restaurant or shop that can be eaten elsewhere. Now let's move on to the next word, microwave. A microwave is an appliance that is used to heat food. Here is an example of a sentence where we use the word, please warm my son's milk with a microwave. Now, let us move on to the next word, toaster. This is a device that is used to toast bread. Here is an example sentence of how we use the word. Please clean the toaster so that I can make toasted bread. Okay, now let's move over to the next set of words. Our first word is kettle. A kettle is a device used to boil or heat up water. Here is an example of a sentence where we use the word kettle, which is please boil the water in a kettle so that I can make tea. The next word is refrigerator, a machine used for keeping things cold. Please check the refrigerator if there is milk. Now let's move on to the next word, which is oven. This is a device used for cooking that looks like a box with a door. You can heat up food or cook food inside. Here is an example sentence that we can use. Please remove the cake from the oven. Okay, now let's move on to our next set of words. Our first word is dishwasher. A dishwasher is a machine that washes dishes. Here is an example of a sentence. Please put the dishes in the dishwasher. Our next word is blender, an appliance for making drinks, mixing liquids, or pureeing, which means chopping up into small bits fruits and vegetables for sauces and soups. I had to blend the baby's food in a blender. We can use this word in this instance. Now let's move on to the next section, which is kitchen utensils. Now let us have a look at our first set of words. Our first word is pot, a deep rounded container for cooking. Now let us use this in a sentence. I had to remove the meat from the pot. Now let's move over to the next word, which is a pan. A pan is an open, shallow metal container used for cooking. Now here is an example of how we can use the word. Please use the red pan to fry your eggs. Now let's move on to the next word, which is saucepan. A small cooking pan with a handle. Now here is an example of a sentence where we can use the word. Please make the white sauce in the saucepan. Now let's move on to the next item, which is oven glove. An oven glove is thick. It is a glove that is thick, covering for the hand, used for taking hot things out of the oven. So now we can use this. This word in this instance. Use the oven glove to remove the baking tray from the oven. Now let's move on to the next word, which is apron. What is an apron? An apron is the garment worn on the front of the body to keep the clothing from getting dirty. Now here is an example of a sentence where we use the word. Her mother wore an apron so that she does not mess up herself. Her mother wore an apron so that she does not mess up herself. Now let's move over to the next set of words that we can use for making tea. Our first word is teaspoon. A small spoon that is used especially for eating soft foods or stirring beverages, and that holds about 1/3 of a tablespoon. Here is an example of a sentence where we use the word teaspoon. She had to stir the tea with the teaspoon. Our next word is teapot. This is a pot that is used for brewing or serving tea that looks like a spout. Here is an example of a sentence. She served us tea in a teapot. Now the next word is tray, which is an open container that with a flat bottom and a low rim for holding, carrying, exhibiting articles. She put everything on the tray when she served us. That is an example of a sentence. Now let's move on to the next word, milk, or next item, milk jug. This is a jug for holding milk. Here is an example of a sentence, which is, please warm the milk in the milk jug. Now let us move on to the next word, which is a saucer. This is a small round shallow dish in which a cup is set. Here is an example of a sentence, which is, please put the cup on top of the saucer. Now let's move over to the next word, which is cup. And this is something to drink out of in the shape of a bowl. It usually has a handle. Here is an example sentence, which is, please pour the tea in the cup. Okay, now let's move on to the next set of words. The first word is tablespoon. This is a large spoon that is normally used to serve food. Now here's an example sentence. Please pour 3 tablespoons of flour into the sauce. Now let us move on to the next word, which is knife. A knife is a sharp tool that is used for cutting and slicing. Here is an example of a sentence where we use the word knife. Please take the knife and slice the orange. Now, here is the next word, which is fork. This is used for eating. Here is an example of a sentence where we use the word fork. Please use the fork to eat your pasta. Our next item is a bottle opener. This is a device that is used to remove caps or tops from bottles. Here is an example of a sentence where we use bottle opener. Please open my cold drink with a bottle opener. Our last word is a peeler. We use the peeler to remove the skin from a fruit or vegetable. Here's an example of the sentence where we use the word which is please peel the potatoes with the peeler. Now let's move on to our next set of words. Our first word is plate. A plate is a flat, round dish from which food is served or eaten. Please wipe all the plates before you put them on the serving table. Now let's move on to the next word, which is bowl. A bowl is a deep rounded dish used for holding food or liquid. The sentence is, she served us porridge in a bowl. Now let's move on to the next word, which is mixing bowl, which is large. A bowl is a large bowl used for mixing ingredients. Now here's an example sentence, which is please mix all the dry ingredients into a mixing bowl. Our next item is a wooden spoon. This is a spoon used for stirring sauces or mixing ingredients. The sentence is, I used the wooden spoon to stir the sauce. Now let's move on to the next item, which is baking tray. The example that we can use is a baking tray is a metal tray used to cook food in the oven. Here is an example of a sentence where we use baking tray, which is, please put the chicken onto the baking tray. Our next item is a baking sheet, which is the same as a baking tray. Now let's move over to the next set of words. Our first word is rolling pin. This is a cylinder, which is wood used to roll out dough. Here's an example sentence where we use rolling pin. You need to roll the dough and use a rolling pin. The next word is a grater. A grater is a tool which has rough surfaces that you can use for cutting food into small pieces. Here's an example sentence where we use the word, we need to grate the cheese before you add it onto the sandwich. Please use a grater to grate the cheese. Our next word is measuring jug. This is a cup that is used that has markings for measuring liquids when cooking. Our example sentence is, please use a measuring jug to measure the milk. The next word is whisk. This means this is a cooking tool that is curved, that is made of curved wires that is used to stir or beat things. The example sentence is, she had to whisk all the wet ingredients. The next word is mug, which is a cooking tool that is made of curved wires. The next word is a mug. I'm sorry about that. The example sentence is, please pour coffee onto the mug. Now you're asking, what is the difference between a mug and a cup? A cup is smaller than a mug, and it always comes with a handle and a saucer. Normally mugs are used for coffee or hot chocolate. Now let us move on to the next set of words. Our first word is a cabinet. A cabinet is a piece of furniture with shelves, compartments or drawers, and usually covered by door or doors. Cabinets are used to store or hold objects. Please put the cups back into the cabinet. The next word is a cupboard. And the cupboard is a closet with shelves for cups, dishes, or food. You can use this as, here is an example of a sentence. We need to clean out the cupboards. The next word is a drawer, which is a box that slides in and out of a desk, a dresser, or other pieces of furniture. Now let's have here is a sentence that we can use. You need to put the teaspoons back into a drawer. Now let us move on to the next word, which is pantry. The meaning of a small room in which the food and dishes are kept. Here's an example of a sentence. Please look for the rice in the pantry. Try to identify as much objects that you have in your kitchen, and try to read as much recipes to help you grasp or learn these words quicker. Now try to include these into your daily lives or daily conversations. Thank you for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed the video and you found this helpful. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Till the next video, bye.